How you doing, folks? My name is Jesse. Vlog entry number 28, May 28th. What have I been working on? Well, the last couple days I've been working on that 2-chord vamp. I was trying to come up with something to demo this guitar that I've got, and I was like, well, I'll come up with... that works. Cool. That'll be easy to work over. I was struggling. I would come up with licks... but then it was like, well, where am I going? Like I could, there's B. And I tried using those things that I've been working on, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And sometimes I just get like I'm so tired of listening to that. I've heard that a million times and I'm tired of playing it already. So, I've really been kind of trying to figure out how to solo again. Everything's an evolution. Everything's a development. There was a period of time where I would figure out what the key of the song was, and I would just play in that scale. That's it, right? Or a mode in that scale. So if I'm playing over a B dominant 7th chord, I'm thinking E major, But the problem is, like, when you go from that to the F sharp, it doesn't quite work. So you got to do what the old guys say and follow the changes. So, like if I'm trying to play, if F sharp's, so I'm trying to alternate between E major and B major. So I'll do that mirror the lick in a different spot kind of thing. But then I screwed myself up and I went to the dominant 2, and back to the F sharp 7 again. So I've really been struggling with this, as you can tell, which is cool because that means, if it's not easy, you got to work on it. I just think about how my concept of soloing has changed over time. Like when I was taking lessons, it was like figure out the key of the song, and then you can just, if you know the major scale and all 12 keys up and down the fingerboard, you can just let your fingers float and not think about what you're doing. And that works, but I'm coming to the realization that that is limiting, right? And so that's what I'm working on. Now, what have I been working on it with? A 2018 Gibson Les Paul Studio. Yeah, Les Paul Studio. Vintage Sunburst, I think this is called. And how I got this guitar is kind of a funny story. This wasn't originally the guitar I was going to get. I was going to get a 2011 Gibson Les Paul Studio Deluxe. I didn't know such a thing existed, right? I was just like, Deluxe? Somebody must have... And I'll show you the pictures. I was going to get it through Atomic Music in Beltsville, Maryland. Now, I've done business with Atomic before. If you've never been to Atomic Music, you gotta go. Imagine every lost corner in every mom and pop music store and any guitar it might have held, and they're all there with amps and everything else. Check them out on Reverb. The selection is mind-boggling, and what they have on Reverb is not all of what they have. I remember going down looking for a Rickenbacker. In fact, that's where I got that Rickenbacker I had, and finding just like original G and L F series guitars. Now, when you get there, the guitar can be in any number of possible conditions, depending. And so, getting your hands on it and playing it is important. But they're cool dudes and they stand behind their stuff. So I didn't have a problem ordering from them. So I ordered this guitar, and they sent it UPS, and they sent it signature required, which makes sense. If you're sending expensive items, you're going to want somebody to sign for it to prove that it got there. But the problem was, I work, so who's going to sign for it? So I called them up and I said, is there a way we can send it someplace else? Because I had a guitar I had sent to a buddy's business, and I was hoping I could do that. And the guy I talked to was like, well, just give me the nearest UPS drop-off place. So I'm on the phone with him, and I pull it up, and I type in nearest UPS drop-off place, and I get a UPS store that's very close to my house. And so I thought, okay. So I gave him that address. My guitar was shipped last week. It was supposed to arrive last Wednesday. Wednesday, I get off work, and I walk over there, and I discover something. UPS stores are privately owned. They are franchised, but they're privately owned, and because they're privately owned, the owners can determine how they want to run things. And this one in particular was running off the idea that you had to belong to a subscription service, and if you didn't, any package that arrived with your name on it would be immediately put back on the truck and shipped back to the seller. Who knew that was a thing? Who knew the slumlord business got into shipping packages? As God is my witness, this business model needs to die a horrible death. Just saying. Like, there's a time and a place to have a landlord. But you really shouldn't have a landlord when it comes to getting packages that you pay to have shipped to you. Old man rant done. I'm done here. So, after I... gentle listener, I don't know what you think of me, if you think of anything at all, but I hope you're proud of me, because when the guy explained it to me in his condescending tone, I just said, okay, thank you, and walked out. I didn't call him a or anything, and I will bleep that out. And so I call Atomic, and I'm like, you will not believe this. This is what's going on. And the guy's like, you're kidding me. And I said, no. And he goes, give me the guy's phone number. Give me the phone number of the UPS store. So I did. And I said, I'm going to be in near your neck of the woods tomorrow, because I was visiting my daughter. And I said, if it shows up, just message me and I'll come pick it up, right? So I had breakfast with my daughter, and I had an hour to kill. Because if you'll remember, this is now Thursday, last Thursday, when my band is supposed to be opening up for Tony Holiday that afternoon. So I said, I got about an hour. Let me drive down there and just see if it showed up. So I go down there, and Lou, I think, was the owner that was there. And I introduced myself, explained who I am. Hey, did it show up? No, it hasn't showed up yet. And I was like, look, I'm really sorry, man. Because clearly I guess I should have somehow investigated that this was a business model that I should be wary of. And he said, he goes, it makes no sense. I've never heard of this before in my life. And I said, you may not even believe that I'm telling you the truth. Because, I mean, come on. Like, that sounds shady as hell, doesn't it? It really does. And he goes, nah, I believe you, man. You gave me the guy's number. I talked to him, and I was just like, can't you just, because, like, the last time I had a guitar shipped someplace, because I wanted it, I wasn't going to be able to sign for it, I paid like $15 to have it shipped to my buddy's place of business. Okay, fine. I paid a lot of money for shipping, and now I'm going to pay more. All right, I get how this is. And the guy, and Lou said, I said to him, I'll pay the $14. Just give him his package. He was like, nope, that's not how we do business. And Lou said, tell you what, I'll refund your money. I said, can I just hang out I got an hour. Can I just hang out? And if it shows up, great. He goes, I'll do you better. I'll refund your money. If you see something else you want, I'll put it against it. And I was like, what if you don't get your guitar back? He goes, well, if they mail it to you, could you do me a favor and bring it? And I was like, absolutely, man. You're going to trust me? Sure. And so this is the second Les Paul I picked up. Actually, it was the third. The first one I picked up, I was like, this is really nice. And then I saw it had a $3,000 price tag, and I said, not for me. And then I picked up another Studio, which was okay, but the neck pickup was kind of wonky. And then I picked this up. And it's got that 60s neck. And I've never played a 60s neck before. And it was just like, oh yeah, this. It's got a little bit of flat to it, And I played 3 licks in what was the amp? It was a Fender Bassmaster, like one of those little 12-watt Bassmaster amps that just has the volume and the tone. No, nothing. And I played, like, yeah. Oh yeah. And then the other thing, because the one thing I was intrigued by the 2011 is that they had factory installed coil taps. And I went, oh yeah, we got the coil tap, Coil tap in the bridge. I just went up to the guy. I was like, is that offer still good? He goes, yeah. So, and he knocked 10% off. So I cannot say enough good things about Atomic Music in Beltsville, Maryland. Those guys were stand-up dudes. Fortunately, and I obviously, like, when they told me that they had sent my guitar back, and I checked the UPS logs, and it just said it was delivered, I immediately opened an investigation. Because for all I know, these guys stole it, said, threw the box away, and said they returned it. And so I just touched base with the guys at Atomic through Reverb, and I was just checking. And the next day, it was like, the guy goes, guess what showed up in the mail? And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. But you know what? It worked out for the better. Like, I am just over the moon at what this thing sounds like. Especially with just a little bit. Just a little bit of dirt. Turns out these are 57 classics. I've never played 57 classics before. This thing's in amazing shape. Like, there's like one mark on the back. There's a couple of chips around the corner, and that's it. I got a black, white, black pickguard coming for it. That's the one thing I think it needs. But other than that, man, like, it's perfect. It's a perfect complement to the studio I've got, which I'm going to show you at some point. In fact, I'll probably A-B them. Stole that lick. Now, the gig. I didn't tell you about the gig. Because here's the fun fact. So, they took care of me. I got out the door, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going to make it home in time, get dinner heated up, have coffee with the missus, get my stuff packed. I'm 5 minutes away from Elkton Music Hall. Everything's going to be great. And I'm getting ready to go through Baltimore. And I'm like, what's that cloud of smoke that's coming up? Where are these fire trucks going by? Why have we stopped? Why are we still stopped? Why have we been here for a half an hour? I was like, I screwed myself up. I did it. I screwed myself up. I knew something was going to go wrong. 95 is treacherous on a good day. I'm going to be late for this gig. Had a moment of sheer panic. The picture that you see is me standing outside my car taking a picture of the sky, the smoke in the sky, after the fire department started to put it out. I mean, the good news is I got home in time. I mean, like, I was cutting it, like I was moving quick. But I made load in on time. We did sound check on time. Tony Holiday couldn't have been cooler. His band couldn't have been cooler. Go listen to him. Buy his merch. Buy his CDs. Like, soulful. With the swagger, without like the histrionics that sometimes blue-eyed soul guys throw into it. Just great tunes, great band. It was wonderful. It was an honor opening up for him. It really was. So all's well that ends well eventually. Let me know if you've had a crazy trying to get to the gig story. Let me know if you've got one of these, and tell me what you think. I feel like the fingerboard radius is a little flatter. Like, it feels like more than a 12, but maybe I'm wrong. I know in 2015 they had, different radii. It was flatter. I've played those. Those are interesting, but I don't think of them as a Les Paul. Anyway, I hope you found this informative. My name's Jesse. I'll talk to you later.
Yesterday, I picked up the extension